There's one tip that I want to give you as well that's going to be game changing for some of you. I used to do it, and it's probably one of the best tips that I can give anybody, especially if you are new to this game. And that is,
let's sit down. I'm gonna have a little bit of a chat with you guys about how I think I'm gonna price this job up, some of my best tips and tricks for how to make sure that you get your quoting job on point so that you don't lose any money. Quoting, the dreaded part of my job, and for some reason it's something I've always just not liked doing, and actually get asked quite a lot of questions on how do you quote, what's the best way to do it, and I'm going to go into all of those details in this video. But first, I just want to tell you a little bit about what my plan is going forward with this channel. Right then, so before I get into those details of quoting and how I like to do it and what I think the easiest method and way to do your quotes is, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about what my plan is with YouTube, as this is a new platform for us. And although we're very established on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok with over 500,000 followers across those platforms, this is a bit of a different approach. It's a bit more of a different challenge, which I'm willing to take on, by the way. And so we're currently sitting at like 1,200 subscribers, which, believe it or not, it took me up until about 4 weeks ago to get 1,000. It took me like a couple of years, and now we've done like another 200 subscribers in the past couple of weeks. So, which is pretty mental, and it's just through putting in a little bit of effort. And I honestly have seen a massive gap for some high quality UK-based tiling content. And so look, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to bring it to the table. So this morning we're going to go and drive to go and do a quote. It's only a small room. It's for a friend's dad that I know. It looks like he's got some nice tiles, 1.2 by 600, large platform. And I'm thinking, oh, you know what, this would make for some good content for you guys. And honestly, sorry about rambling, just want to let you guys kind of know where I'm at. And what I'm planning on doing. We're going to have vloggy sort of style stuff like this, which is more of like day in the life of what we're getting up to, you know, everyday sort of stuff, with not much of a, like an actual target for the video, but just more to give you guys an insight into like what I'm up to behind the scenes and stuff. But then we are going to be doing some how-tos, which is going to be very structured, like the splashback that I done the other day, and I recorded all of that. It's not been uploaded just yet. So we're just going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to have a play around. One thing I really would love from you lot, I would love, is if you can let me know what you want to see. What do you want to be covered? What do you not think there is currently on YouTube? What do you need to know? What would you like to know that's not there? And as I said earlier, UK based. There's a lot of American content out there, tiling, great. But you know what? Let's get something from the UK going, and start getting some of this good tiling content together. So anyway, I'm gonna stop nibbling your ears off. I'm gonna get driving, and we're gonna go down to this quote. I'm gonna show you guys the room, and then I may even have a little bit of a chat to you guys about how I think I'm going to quote it and break it down. I'm not sure about the work that's entailed just yet. But off we go. All right, everyone. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.
and off we go. Now, this is the first vlog series, an episode of the vlog series that we have done. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today as we're off out going and doing our quote, picking up some tiles, jamming it out, and obviously towards the end of this episode I'm going to tell you guys all of my tips and tricks on how I like to compile my quotes together to make just things nice and simple, because I'm no genius. I need things to be nice and easy too. And so I'm going to share all that with you. And before we go up there, we went and checked out these tiles and how beautiful these are. These are what we're going to be installing as long as the quote goes through. So fingers crossed, everybody, and I'll see you in a second. Right, and you lot, we are here. We have finally arrived at this bathroom. Look how tall the ceilings are in here. I didn't think the ceiling's going to be that big, but originally the ceiling stopped here. And then now they've pulled it all down and like, look, we've still got a nice big sloped ceiling, skylighting, and plastered walls everywhere. So, first question when we're in something like this is where you're having tiled. You want to find out the whole spec. You want to find out what they're actually having going on in here. What does the customer want? What is the end outcome? So, and that for us as tilers, bathroom fitters, whatever trade you're in, that is gonna obviously make your life a lot easier when you come down to quoting it and knowing exactly what you're having to do. So the plan in here is there's going to be a bath. It's full height tiles with the tiles that I'd showed you previously before this video. So it's 1.2 meter by 600 tiles, all the way around here. This boxing's been built, but I think I'm just going to rip this out. We'll reboard all this, tile back a board, tile back a board. Ideally, that wall would be tile back a boarded as well, but we've not got much room to play around with. We're not going to start ripping that wall down for that, so we're just going to super duper prep this wall up so that it's good for tiling. Remember, it's only going to be the tiles above the bath there. We're going to redo that boxing because it just feels a little bit, feels a little bit weak. And the fact that that's not gone all the way up to the ceiling there either means that we need to have a little bit more height on that. LED mirror or cabinets going there. There's going to be a toilet and basin unit here, towel rad there, and then once again tiles all the way up to the top. And then we're going to rip all of this down and board all of that wall. So this, my customer does have a plasterer coming in to do the ceiling, which they're going to have some spotlights and stuff installed up there. I said about his plasterer boarding his board and that, and I thought, wait a second, it makes more sense for me to do it because we're going to be here anyway doing a little bit of prep work, so it just makes sense to do it. So we're gonna price for taking all of this out, reboarding all of this with Jacko board, rebuilding the boxing. We've got a backer board the floor, tank it, and then tile everywhere. And so then the next thing you need to think about is materials. What materials are we going to need? And we'll run through all of that a little bit later, but more than anything, I just wanted to show you guys this room, where we are. And I think you need to look at, it's 1.8 by 1.8 in terms of floor area. And then the ceilings are 3.5 meters tall at the highest point over there. So it's pretty cool. It's going to look very grand in here. And then as for the bath's going to be getting slotted in here. And then they think they want a tile bath panel as well. It's going to look pretty funky. It's going to look good. So anyway, we're going to get tied up here. And I'll check with you guys a bit later. And we'll start running through how we're going to get this quoted and add everything up. See you in a bit.
Woohoo! Right, quote is done. That was nice. I've not been doing much quoting recently just because of how busy I've been. So it's actually nice to go in there and just spend a bit of time with the customers, go through what they want. Lovely tiles. It's a small room, small surface area of the room, but it's really tall ceilings. Sorry, jumping back in the van. But really tall ceilings in there. And I just had a chat with them about some couple of different options. It's turned now from going from a tiling job into more of like down the renovation sort of route. Although I'm not going to be getting any of the plumbing done or any of the electrics, but I will be having to do a bit more building work in there. I'll be doing all of the prep work and the boarding, and then tiling and siliconing once the bathroom's been fitted. So, and this is the importance, once again, like a lot of time you can get into the habit when you're busy of like trying to quote things over the phone or over pictures, and it's not always a great way to do things. Even like I would do that quite a lot, and this is the first job I've come out to for a while, and it's for reasons like this that if I was to quote it as a tiling job, you come in, all of a sudden the boxing's all loose, it's not been prepped properly, the plaster's just coming off the wall in places, and you're like, oh, I've already done my quote, they've already paid a deposit, you know, and I'm here and it's been booked in, and all of a sudden you're the person that's delaying the job now because you didn't quote your job properly, and you're going to be missing out because you've not done your job properly, you've not quoted it properly, your customers are unhappy because you've turned up and you can't do the work. And so it's important to get those quotes out, and I think this is a message to customers as well, because you know a lot of time customers just want a quote and want it then and and you know these things take time. You know, these things do take time. So yeah, what we're going to do is actually I'm going to quickly whiz down to Easy Bathroom's showroom in Erdington because they're holding some tiles, because I have been asked to build Easy Bathrooms a mitered tiled side table. So I'm going to go pick those tiles up so that we can pop them in the garage, and then when we, oh, by the way guys, I'm going to China as well. And so when I come back from China, the plan is to do this bathroom and build the Easy Bathroom side table. So anyway, we're going to go and pick up these tiles now, and then we're going to head back home, and I think I'm going to rustle this quote up and I'm going to start editing some videos. Just a sec. As I mentioned, we are now on our way down to the Easy Bathroom showroom to go pick up some tiles for a side project of a side table that we're going to have and that we're going to do just before Christmas. And as I mentioned there as well, we're going to China. I'm going to China next month in December, and we're going to a factory to go and look at how laser levels are made with hoopah, which is crazy. I mean, this is just one of the examples of where this social media journey is taking me. I can't explain how grateful I am to be where we are. But yeah, this is all very exciting. I also just wanted to say, if you are enjoying this episode so far, or you've enjoyed previous episodes, there's one way that you can show some support, and that is by subscribing and liking to this channel. So I'd be greatly appreciative if you could do that. But apart from that, enjoy the rest of this drive, and I'll catch you when we're at Easy Bathrooms. See you in a bit. Ooh, right then, we are here. We've got to Easy Bathrooms to pick up these. Now, what are they, you say? I know, they don't look great, I know, but these are going to look amazing when they've been incorporated into a mitered side table. For Easy Bathrooms, it's going to be in their showroom in Bristol. I think it's Bristol. So, these are like a wood effect ceramic tile. Bosch, bit of bow, flex one there. So yeah, but these are lovely. Like I said, they've got like a wood effect grain in them. Might be able to see a little bit better in the light. Is it going to focus, or I don't know. This camera's not very good at focusing. So they're a wood effect tile. They look stunning. They're going to look really nice as a side table. So these are going to be across all of the side. They're going to be, it's going to be this long, and then there's a different type of tile. It's going to go on the top. As I say, it's all going to be mitered. It's going to look sick. So Easy Bathrooms have a fantastic range of tiles, honestly. Like even in comparison to some tile shops, just like straight tile shops, the range tiles have got large platform, porcelain, ceramic, mosaics, everything. All of the large platform stuff from there though is like lovely, really good. So anyway, we're going to get these babies home, get them in the garage, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. I'm going to have a little bit of a chat with you guys about how I think I'm going to price this job up, some of my best tips and tricks for how to make sure that you get your quoting job on point so that you don't lose any money, okay? Okay, so I'll see you guys when we're back at home. See you in a bit. Mwah. We've been and done our quote. We went to Easy Bathrooms, we went and picked up our tiles for the side table that we're going to be building a little bit closer to Christmas. And now we're sat down at our desk and we're going to try and figure out what we want to price this job at. One of the first questions we want to ask ourselves when we're having to quote anything up is what is entailed in the job. And that is why going and doing a quoting visit is great, because you get to go there, you get to talk to your customers, and you can suss out and work out the work that needs to be done in order for you to achieve the finish you need to achieve. After you've figured that out, you want to work out how badly do you want that job. Now, this might sound crazy to some people. It's all about supply and demand. It's the same with buying and selling things, and it's the same with selling a service. I try and pick jobs that are good for social media now as well. It's going to look good on my portfolio. And so if sometimes you might come across a job that's not that appealing, you know, somebody gets in touch with me and wants me to go and change some cracked tiles and change a bit of silicone. I used to do that sort of stuff, but I no longer do it anymore. And so if somebody did want me to do that job and they want me to do it, my price has gone up now because I don't really want to do that type of work. So it's supply and demand. How much do I want that? And how much do people need me? And some people might think that that's wrong, and it might be a little bit controversial actually. And some people might disagree with what I'm saying there. But the truth of business is it is all about supply and demand, and the price that we put out there is all about how much people want us to do it and what can you value your service at. How badly do you want this job? Now for me, in this situation, I actually quite want this job. You know, the lovely tiles. It's a bit of a different type of project. The ceilings are really high in there. The customers are nice. Okay, so it's crazy because it's a lot of people will message me and say, what's your square meterage, blah, blah, blah. I don't work like that. I personally don't work like that. I don't do big floors. I'm not really interested in doing floors. I like doing bathrooms. And for me, it's about how much do I like the customers? How much do I want to do the job? How much work's involved in the job? How far do I have to travel for it? How detailed is the work within the bathroom? These are all of the things that I think about and I take into consideration, and then I build a price up around that. Once I know how much I want the job and I know the work that's entailed in the job, it's then about sitting back and thinking, okay, so
How long is this job going to take me? What am I prepared to go in at to win the job? So in order to do this, you need to know what your value is and what you need and what you want for this type of job. And once again, I know this is kind of getting into the nitty gritty of it, but if it's a job that you don't really want, chances are that you're going to think, well, okay, my price is going to be quite high for this. If it comes in, brilliant, we've put in a good price for it. If it doesn't come in, I'm not bothered because I didn't want to do the job anyway. On top of knowing that, you then need to think to yourself, well, how long is this job going to take me? Then you got to add your materials into it. So like in my quote, I'll always put that if there's any extra work that needs to be done, then this will accumulate at an added cost. And I think it's really important to make sure that you put in that in your quotes, because the thing is, sometimes you can go to a job and you think that you've only got to do X amount. Then if you go there, for example, and let's just say you get there and actually one of the walls is in a really bad condition and you need to rip it all down and it needs to be battened again and you need to re-prep it, and then there's more materials. I personally don't think that me or another builder, for example, should be having to take those costs on. It's an unexpected cost. If it's something that's, some people quite happily absorb these costs. I used to absorb them, and whereas now I know that I'm fair, and I know that if there are added costs and there's a little bit of added work that's not my fault, and it's maybe just it was kind of like hidden there, and like I would have never knew that it was going to have to be done, then unfortunately the customer's got to be prepared to take that on, and so I'll always put that in my quote. And then sometimes with bathroom renovations and where there's more work involved and you've got management of other lads and whatnot, that's then when I would sometimes add a little percentage on top, and it's there to absorb any extra damage that you might have to take through maybe other trades additions. And if not, it's a little bit of a bonus for you, because a lot of the time in this industry we'll come up against problems and it's us that has to absorb that damage. And so I think by if you get to yourself to a point of where you can put yourself a small percentage on top, maybe 10%, so let's say you're charging £1,000 for a job, you charge £1,100, and that little bit of that other £100 is either a bonus or it helps absorb some of the costs that might be added on throughout your project. Once I know how long it's going to take me, you add up all of your materials for the job, and you all of a sudden start getting an idea of the price that this job is coming to. There's one tip that I want to give you as well that's going to be game changing for some of you, because I know some people do this and I used to do it, and it's probably one of the best tips that I can give anybody, especially if you are new to this game, and that is to not feel rushed on the job. Sometimes customers will be like, right then, so what's the price? Right then, so what's the price? Right, and you'll be there and you'll be like, 500 quid. And so you do it because you feel under pressure, and then you get home and you think, wait, £500, I've got to do this, got to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then it kind of gets a little bit awkward. I never, ever, ever give a price on the job. I always come home, I spend a bit of time driving home thinking about it, I sit down, I get my notepad out, I write down all my notes, I work out costings, and then you get back to them. Because it's like putting salt in food. You can never take it back out. And once you've given a low ball price and you all of a sudden come in and go, look, sorry, it's not going to be £500. It's going to be £1,500. Things start getting a bit sticky then. And you start looking a little bit shady. You're much better off to just be like, whoop. No, sorry, I'll go home and I'll work all this out and I'll get back to you with the quote a little bit later or over the weekend or next week, whatever. Take your time. There's no rush with a quote. Like, this is such an important part of the job, and a lot of the time we can just rush it. And that's when it'll bite you on the butt. No one else, it'll bite you on the butt. That's kind of the way that I do things. It's not overly complicated. I know when you start going into other trades, this is me personally, this is how I do it. I'm not saying you need to do it like this, but these are like the easiest ways for me to break it all down. And it is literally as simple as going, what needs to be done on the job? How badly do I want it? What's your rate? Times it all by how long you think it's going to take you, plus your materials. If you're running a bit of a bigger project, add yourself a little percentage bonus on as well, because no doubt you'll need to have some sort of absorbance, go through all of that. Take your time with the quoting. It's important. It's just as important as the job. It's part of the overall bigger, better service. Make sure you cover yourself if there are any other additional works to take place. Make sure you cover everything that you are doing within your quote so that nothing's missing. And you should be all good.
there we have it. And you know, I think I'm going to tie this episode up right here. This is going to be the first episode in this vlog series where I've tried to incorporate a little bit of the quoting material in there and how I quote. And I'm sure you lot might do things a bit differently. And if you'd like to share that with me and how you like to do things, let me know down in the comments below. If you've got any questions, equally feel free to ask any questions. But one thing that I will ask is, if you do not mind, if you would just give this channel a subscribe, give us a like. Those likes go such a long way. And just let me know what you think. I'd be greatly appreciative. But apart from that, I hope you've all enjoyed this episode. I hope you all look forward to seeing the next ones. Vlogs are going to be more behind the scenes, little bits here and there just about how I work. And then the how-to is going to be a bit more rigid. Let me know what you think of this whole process. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you in a bit.